Hello everyone and welcome to Recipes Galore. Today we are going to be making some cinnamon roll pancakes. Yes, I said pancakes and they are so yummy. Now, the first thing we're going to do is fix my apron so it won't be flopping off of me. and next we're going to make our cinnamon swirl. Now, for our cinnamon swirl, we're going to need to melt a fourth a cup of butter. Now, I have this out on the counter for the last 2 or 3 hours so it can soften up, because you don't want it to be boiling hot. You want it to be just warm, because we're going to mix it with about a half a cup of brown sugar, packed brown sugar, and some cinnamon. Now, my cinnamon, if you can see that, it's already in my cup. I like using the fresh ground cinnamon. So I take my microplane and I use the little small grater, and I take my fresh cinnamon stick and I grated it into my cup. I like fresh cinnamon sticks because they taste, the taste is so much fresher and so much stronger than that if you were to grab one of the little shaker ones, like in a little bottle, and shake it out. It's so much fresher and it's so much stronger, and it tastes so much better. But that's just my opinion. You use what you have, but you're gonna need about a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now I'm going to put my butter in the microwave, and it is, let me tilt my camera down so you can see what I am doing, and let me not waste the butter all over the place. That would be a disaster. Okay, so as you can see, my butter is pretty much, I can stick my whisk in there. So it's pretty soft already. So I'm just gonna put it on 10 seconds. That should pretty much get it to melt, because that's what I want. I want it to melt because it has to come back to a solid after we mix it with the brown sugar. I want it to come back to a solid. So I'm gonna zap this for about 10 seconds. And make sure it does not overheat. Just want it to melt. Check it. And there we have it. Melted butter. Now, I'm going to pour this. Did I grab my fork? Let me grab my fork. Can't do this without my fork. I'm going to pour this brown sugar off in here with the cinnamon, and we're going to mix it up. Now, you want this to be kind of coarse. You don't want it to be too mushy, because if it's too mushy, then when you get ready to pour it over your pancake, it will just kind of spread everywhere, and you won't have that cute little circle that we're looking for. So I'm going to put this, that's pretty thick. I'm going to put this back into a baggie, because I need something to squeeze it out of. Now, I cook a lot, so I have this kit. And this is, it's got 12 little mini bags in there, and it has all these little tools in there. So that's what I'm using. But if you don't have that, you can pour this into a Ziploc bag and put it all the way in there like that. And then when you get ready to put it on your pancakes, you just snip the little tip right there. You don't have to have any fancy tools. I'm from the school will make it do what it do. I just happen to have something to do it with. Okay, so I'm going to stir this up again. And then I'm going to put it on my counter because my counter is cold. Pour it all off in there. Okay. Get it all down in there. So you want to do this first so the butter can have time to solidify before you get ready to do your pancakes. Because as I said before, you don't want it to be too mushy. So there's my, okay. And you could also set this in the refrigerator for a few minutes while you prepare everything else so the butter has time to solidify. And I think that's what I'm going to do because of time. You put this in my garbage bag. Oh, and always when you cook, have a garbage bowl or a garbage bag right there, accessible, so it makes it home so much better for cleanup. Now I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator for a couple of seconds, for a few minutes while we create the next section to our recipe. Now, the next thing you're gonna do is make the glaze, because you want that to be ready to pour over right after you make the pancakes. So, what we're gonna do, again, you need 1/4 cup of butter. We're gonna put it in a small little pot, and we're gonna turn the eye on low, and just let it melt. And after our butter melts, we're gonna put our cream cheese in there. So, for the glaze, you're gonna need 1/4 cup of butter. You're gonna need 2 ounces of cream cheese, which is a 1/4 cup. You want it at room temperature so it won't, so when you stir it, it dissolves easier. And you need about 3/4 cups of confectionery sugar. That's powdered sugar, about 3/4 cups. So, let's get started on that. Hold on. There we go. Let me turn this down a little bit. Now, our butter is melting. Now, one thing I can say, when you get ready to make your pancakes, if you have it, use a non-stick pan, a skillet, to make your cook your pancakes in. This is a very, very sticky recipe. So, because it's so sticky, it will stick to the bottom of your pan when you flip it over. So make sure that you are working with a non-stick pan or something that's going to make it easier for you to flip that pancake over. Now we're melting this butter. And let me grab my cream cheese and let you see what's going on in my pan. You see the butter melting? Hello, Anne Marie. How are you? I hope you're feeling better. Now, this is almost melted. I'm going to take my cream cheese and put it off in there. Now, I don't want to cook my cream cheese, so I'm turning the fire off from under it. And we're just going to swirl this around and kind of mix it together. You see that? The cream cheese. Just kind of swirl it around and try not to make a mess like I'm making. That's what cleanup is about. So we're going to swirl it until it gets almost creamy. And then we're going to add our cheese. I mean, not the cheese, the confectionery sugar. I'm going to add a little bit at a time and stir it up. Now, once you get done with your pancakes, if your glaze has stiffened up on you and it's not quite as pourable as you like it, you can put it back on the stove under low heat and heat it back up a little bit. Again, you don't want to cook it. You just want it to heat up a little bit. So, now, let me let you see what's going on in my pot. There we go. I'm almost done with the glaze. Let's stir it a little bit more. Now, we're going to add some vanilla to this. Now, I make my own vanilla, and I have 2 different flavors of vanilla. Today, I'm going to use the bourbon vanilla. I have a bourbon a vanilla that's vanilla extract that's made with bourbon, and I have a vanilla extract that's made with vodka. Today, I'm going to use the, let me shake it up. I'm going to use the bourbon one. We need about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So, let me grab it. That's a half teaspoon. There's a teaspoon right there. And just going to pour it off in there. And stir it up. And we'll be done with our glaze. And then we're going to make our pancakes. Okay. That looks yummy, 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 yummy. You see what's going on in there? Yeah. So I'm going to put it right back here. I'm going to pull this over here. Set that right there. All right. Now, we're going to need some oil to go into our pan so our pancakes won't stick. So make sure you have oil on hand. To make our pancakes, I have in my bowl about 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, you can use Bisquick, you can use your pancake mix to make this. Just make it according to the recipe on the box. But I like to make mine from scratch. So, I have about, like I said, 1.5 cups of flour in here. And I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of the baking powder. Now, trick to this is, you see this little lip right here? Right there? It helps you when you're measuring. So when you dip it in there, and you just pull the spoon, measuring spoon across there, it gives you a level teaspoon. So we need 2 of those. Let me bring that back across there. 1 more. There we go. That's our 2 teaspoons. And we need about a teaspoon of salt. I like using my salt grinder. You can measure it out, but you all know me. I eyeball most everything I cook. Now, normally I would put sugar into my pancake mix, about a teaspoon or 2. But because there's going to be a brown sugar swirl in there, I'm not going to put extra sugar in there. I need 1 egg that's slightly beaten. And we're going to pour that in there. And I'm going to use 1 cup of buttermilk, because who doesn't like buttermilk pancakes? Hold on, let me shake this up. Follow the instructions on the bottle. Shake well before use. So, I have to shake it up. Now I'm going to use 1 cup of buttermilk. Now, if you find that your pancake mix is a little too runny, you can always add flour to it, or add the Bisquick or pancake mix to it. If it's too runny for you, let's see what's going on in my bowl. If you find that it's too thick, like this one is, add more buttermilk. So I'm going to add a little bit more buttermilk until it gets to the consistency. Oh, my whisk is trying to fall apart. Until it gets to the consistency that you like it. So I'm going to add a little bit more buttermilk. I'd say that was about 1/3 of a cup. Start with a little bit at a time, and then just stir it until it gets to the consistency that you like. Hi Rose, how are you? Now this, to me, is still a little thick. I like mine just a little bit more runny. So I'm going to add a little bit more buttermilk. I normally make this with regular milk, and regular milk is a lot thinner than buttermilk, so it takes a lot less to make it, but I think I got it now. Today I'm experimenting in my kitchen. All right, now I have it at a consistency that I like. Make sure there's no lumps and bumps in here. I do not like lumps and bumps in my anything. Okay, we'll put that right there. Now, I'm going to go and grab my brown sugar and cinnamon mixture. But first, I'm going to turn the stove on. And you do not want to cook this on high. You want to cook it very slowly so that it cooks evenly for you. Put some oil in there in the bottom of the skillet so it will get hot. So this will not stick to the bottom of it. I'll be right back. Let me get my brown sugar and cinnamon. Okay, good. It's nice and solid. It's good and solid. Let me push this down so that it goes through to the tip. Okay. Now, I'm gonna wait until right before I get to swirling this in, before I cut the tip off, because I've pushed it down, and when I cut that tip, it's gonna release the pressure, and it's just gonna start pouring out. So I need to be ready. Just so you know, be ready for that. Now, our skillet seems to be hot. There's a trick to this now. Listen closely. What did I do in my 3rd cup? There's a trick to this. When you are making this, wait for the bubbles to come on top of your pancakes. When it starts bubbling on top of your pancake, wait for the bubbles before you put the brown sugar cinnamon on. The bubbles means that it is mostly cooked, and that's when you want to add it, when it's mostly cooked. because if you add it before then, there's a greater chance of it running. I'm not saying that it won't run once you the bubbles start, but there's a greater chance of it running. Now I'm going to swirl this out, use my cup, and I'm going to swirl it out into a circle, smooth it out into a circle, just like this. Make sure I got it all even. There we go. Now, we wait until the magic happens. I'm going to bring you over here closer to it so that you can see when it starts bubbling. The bubbles will form. Let me bring this over here and hope that it does not drop. Let me show you what's going on in my skillet. Can you see that? We have to wait until the bubbles start forming on top of the pancake. And once the bubbles start and they start popping, that means the heat has come up through the pancake and it's cooking. I used to flip my pancakes too early because it was, I didn't know when to, it would be doughy in the middle. I didn't know when to flip them over. Then I learned to wait until these little bubbles start coming up through the pancake. You see this over here? It's bubbling right here. It's starting to bubble right here. Yeah, it's cooking. It's going slow, but that's what we want. We want it to go slow. So it'll turn out, the recipe will turn out great. You see how these bubbles are starting to come up and it's starting to get translucent? It's almost time to pour. So I'm going to put my camera back up here so that you can see me and you can see what's going on in the pot, in the pan. Let me grab my scissors and get ready. And now my bubbles are coming. And we're ready to swirl. Okay, I don't think I cut that deep enough. Let's get a little bit more. Now, let's swirl. And yes, it's going to be difficult when you're doing this. Now, we're going to let those bubbles pop a little bit more, and then we're going to flip it over. Another tip, always have a big, wide, flat spatula to turn it over. Y'all ready? Let's see if it turned out right. I'm going to wait, let it finish cooking, and we'll see if we have good pancakes or if we need to try again. This is kind of a trial and error sometimes. And that one, as you can see, right here, is spread out. It's still going to be a yummy pancake, but we're going to try it again. Now, have something handy so when you take your pancake out, you need to wipe the skillet out each time you make a pancake. Now, I can tell that this one's spread out. I'm going to let it finish cooking, and then we're going to go again. see, someone is. Okay, Anne Marie, come on over. Let's see. I'm gonna flip this, take this out of here, and let you see. Okay. You see the swirl from that? That's the swirl we're talking about. But it does get better. The first one is always, I don't know about you all, my first pancake is always the one, I call it my warm up the pancake. Now we're gonna do this again. We're gonna spread it out and we're gonna make it work. Now be sure you swirl your pancake around. So you got a big circle going on. Now, we wait. This is the hardest part, is the waiting. Because you just want to be, I'm anxious to pick up that bag and go, but I need to wait on the bubbles. And I have bubbles popping. Let me grab my swirl bag. And we're going around. Make sure you don't get too close to the edge, but because you don't want it to fall off. There we go. Now, we're gonna wait for the bubbles to finish popping, and then I need to take this off. I just burned my hand, I think, from my Fitbit. It has a metal armband on it, and I was wondering why my arm was getting so hot. And that's because it's attracting the heat. So I'm gonna take that off and set that aside. Can you all see the swirl in here? It's slowly cooking. Now, the bubbles are popping. I want to turn it so bad, but it's not time yet. So we have to wait. I'm the one that's patient with kids, but I'm very impatient when it comes to something that I want to do. Okay, almost there. Y'all ready? Okay, we have to turn it gently. Oh, it's ready. Hold on. Let me grab this. And let's see if it's gonna turn out, guys. We're gonna see what we're gonna have in our bowl, in our pan. Oh, it looks so yummy, yummy, yummy. Let's see. Now, let me grab a plate so that I can pour my heat this up just a little bit. I want a little heat under my glaze. So I can pour it on my pancakes. Now, let's look. Perfect. came out perfect. Yay! Like I said, the first one is always the tester in my book. So I'm going to put this one here and put this on top. You got your cinnamon swirls. And now we turn this off. Now we're going to pour the glaze over the top. The yummy, yummy, yummy part is going over the top. Let me grab some glaze. Make sure I don't waste it all over. And we're just going to pour it all over the top. Look at that, y'all. That's going to be some yummy eating right there. Now, if you don't want the glaze, you don't have to have the glaze because I'm sure it's going to be sweet enough. But why make a cinnamon roll pancake if you're not going to put the glaze on top? Especially since it is cream cheese. Everything tastes better with cream cheese. It's just like everything tastes better with bacon. Now, I'm going to make some spinach and eggs, or should I say some scrambled eggs with chopped spinach in it, and maybe a little smokehouse bacon, and I'm going to have me a yummy lunch. Now, you can find this recipe and other yummy recipes on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/AskTheNanny. Now, I have someone asking a question. The cinnamon mixture is 1/4 cup of melted butter. You don't want it hot. You just want it barely melted. You want it to be kind of watery, but not too hot, because you can't use your mixture. It has to be a thick consistency in order for you to use it, or else it's not going to work right on your recipe. So 1/4 cup of melted butter, about a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, and a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And you're going to melt the butter, and then you're going to pour it over the brown sugar. Put the brown sugar into the bowl. That's what I did. I put the brown sugar mixture into the bowl and stirred it up. And then you put it in a bag, so when you get ready to swirl it, it's easier to come out. Simple as that. Please remember that when you make your pancakes, let this start to bubble before you put your swirl in. If you put it in too quickly, it's just going to start running. You need that the dough to kind of thicken up, kind of heat up, and kind of start to gel before you put your swirl in. Also remember, when you get done with each pancake, to wipe out your skillet, because if you start with another pancake, it's going to burn from that sugar. It will make sure it will burn. Now, use a non-stick skillet to make your pancakes. And again, y'all see that? That is yummy, yummy, yummy. I'm going to go cook me some, like I said, some eggs and spinach and some, probably some smokehouse bacon. And I'm going to have me some breakfast for lunch. Thank you all again for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/AskTheNanny. And we'll be back again this week to cook with you soon. Have a great week.